You have built your own upgraded, enhanced, beautiful Cloud City MOC. Hey everyone, welcome back to Fromania.
Bricks.
I don't even have to say bricks anymore because I know you're going to be on it. And welcome back to the second fanciest recording studio in our house. Also the dining room. So we're going to make this one quick so that we can clean the table and eat dinner tonight. Micah, did I tell you about the guy named Luke whose parents were huge Star Wars fans?
No.
Yeah, his parents were such big Star Wars fans that they named him Luke. You didn't know that?
I don't think I did.
I thought I told you about that. His sister Chewbacca and his brother Boba Fett were not nearly as excited as he was.
Wait, his sister...
Welcome back to the table. Micah, we have in front of us a really cool MOC that we're going to share with everyone. But before we can talk about this MOC, we've got to talk about the history of this MOC. Now, there's a Lego set that is kind of your white whale. Now, a white whale is that Lego set that we know we want, but it just seems so far out of reach. Kind of like Moby Dick, right? You've got Captain Ahab and his little rowboat going after the white whale, and he can never capture the white whale. Your white whale Lego set is...
The 10123 Cloud City set.
You knew the number.
Yeah. And I've already achieved part of it with the Boba Fett minifigure, the Cloud City Boba Fett, but I would really love to have the original set, original box, original instructions, all the figures, and I mean I might piece it together.
Now, Lego set 11223344
10123.
Cloud City came out
October 1st, 2003.
2003. In 2003, you were...
-5 years old.
So I'm really disappointed that you didn't go back to -5-year-old Micah and invest in Cloud City. Because if you did, we would have several months of mortgage in the world's second fanciest recording studio paid for. Do you know how many pieces were the original Cloud City set?
I think there's a discrepancy between what's on the box and then another number that's floating around. I'm pretty sure the box was in the high 600s. The number that comes to my mind is 698.
So we're going to fact check you here, Micah, and let's see how many pieces were listed on the box art. 698 pieces was listed. So if you were to find this white whale, new sealed in box, what are you looking at? What are we paying for this new sealed in box Cloud City?
They range 6,000 to 8,000, I think, depending on box condition. And it'd be wasted on me, because if I got a sealed one, I'd open it. But
so you would open it?
Sealed. Oh, yeah.
So my white whale is going to remain forever sealed. It will not crack open while in our possession. But yours, you're going to open it up.
If I ever get rich and have the money to buy it sealed, or whatever.
So you say that, but this guy right here, Cloud City Boba Fett, back over the summer, you would have said this was your white whale. You would have said this is unachievable and that you'll never own Cloud City Boba Fett. But what you did was you worked hard and you pulled it off. And now in my hand is a really tiny white whale. I know you say, if I ever get Cloud City. I think that you can get Cloud City. But at this point, we don't have Cloud City. And let's be honest, a set that came out in 2003 probably doesn't have as cool of features as a modern set would have.
Yeah.
So you have taken your white whale, Cloud City, 1021987 109er, and you have built a MOC based on that. You have built your own upgraded, enhanced, beautiful Cloud City MOC. So the original Cloud City, when it came out, 698 pieces, several minifigs in it. Several of those minifigs command a really hefty price tag. You have the creme de la creme of the minifigs that came in the original Cloud City. You have Cloud City Boba Fett. If you were to get a sealed 1029er 35
10123 Cloud City.
101. If you were to get a sealed 10123 Cloud City, are you keeping both Boba Fetts?
Absolutely.
Or are you liquidating one of these guys to pay for? Because you know, if you know that you're working towards a sealed Cloud City, you are now $2,000 closer to your sealed Cloud City. Tell me about your MOC here. Let's start with over here on the side. What is this we're looking at on the side over here?
So over here on the side is the landing pad. The original landing pad is a lot larger than this. This is kind of what I felt. It looks a little nicer than the one in the original set. It's more condensed and it takes up less space. It was also going to be easier because I didn't know if I'd have the parts to replicate the base plates, and it was going to be a pain.
I am kind of blown away by how you executed this. You did this with studs on sides all the way around on all four edges, and you literally made a circle out of this. I don't know if you guys know this, but making circles in bricks is incredibly difficult. Making balls and spheres is even harder, but to even make a circle shape brick built, where you've got some of the slope elements, but then also some more of the harsher slopes, is really incredible. Like, this is really well built. Is the launch landing pad in 10123 freestanding, or is it attached to the build?
It attaches, but it can come back. I see some people store with it like faced upward because it goes back really far. It'd be really hard to store. If I ever get one, I'll store it with it like propped up in the back so that I actually have space to store the set.
And what would land on this?
So, at the time, I think, close to the time, there was a Millennium Falcon in the Slave 1 set available.
Okay. I mean, that's kind of cool
close,
that they built it big enough that you could land
it was
ship
massive.
on it.
So, there was like almost like two 16 by 16. They were circular, and then 16 by 8 in the middle, and then 16 by 8 on either end, like this too. So it was huge.
So you know what I think we should do? I think you should plus size your landing pad big enough for the UCS Millennium Falcon to land on it. And then we'll build your Cloud City MOC to scale of the UCS Millennium Falcon. Super cool that you were able to execute this, Micah. It's a really, really neat build technique. Every side, there's some studs on side, and you created these little, I wouldn't even call it a half circle, little sliver of circles to tack onto the square to create this circular landing pad. On the pad, working on a more of a micro version,
like a MIDI scale
of a Millennium Falcon. Wait, what? I've not gotten to look at this good yet. This is incredible.
Thank you.
Again, you executed a perfect circle on this. So moving next door to the landing pad, what is this next section we see here?
So this is the carbon freezing chamber, and it had a neat mechanism where you could drop console down, push a carbonite block, the Han carbonite, and then pull it back up, and you had Han and carbonite. It was not as sophisticated as some of the modern carbon freezing chambers, but it was really neat and endearing. So I think the best carbon freezing chamber came out in the new Cloud City set. It was a really nice, smooth mechanism. You'd flip something and it'd go right back up real quick.
So turning this dial on the back, you can see this is Han Solo, because I know Lego.
Because you know.
And I know this is Han, because this is set 10123, and yes. Han Solo was a part of that with his girlfriend Leia, who is Luke's sister. So when I turn it, you see, I'm just lowering Han down into the bottom here. This is what's really wild, is that when I bring it back up, this is incredible. The mechanism you put in place, you lower Han Solo down into the carbonite pit,
yes.
The pit of carbonite, and you push the side, and when it comes back up, you have yep. Han and carbonite.
Now, full credit goes to the designer of the set. For the main functionality, I kind of copied based on how the set did it. Some I adjusted a bit for it to work. The door, I adjusted where you turn for a door to go up, which is actually one of my favorite things I changed.
So this is a feature from the original set then?
Yes, but it used to be a pillar right here, but instead I made it the control console that already used to spin in the original set.
Okay.
I thought it was...
And you have the claw as well, that you can kind of mimic that the claw is pulling this up.
So what you're supposed to do, and this is kind of what I added, is you get it pulled up a little bit, you maneuver the clip in there like that, and then it looks like the claw is actually...
Oh my word.
So it's kind of crude. Maybe I'll fix it, make it work a little better. But
there is nothing crude about that. So let's move next door. Show me how this center door opens again.
Yeah, so essentially you just turn this panel, and it pops up. You do about 360, maybe a little bit more, and it'll go up. You get enough space to get a figure through there. It's pretty cool.
So this looks like magic to me because I'm seeing nothing attached to this door. I'm just seeing, oh, wait, I see a pin spinning on the back.
It was actually, like, it's one of my favorite functions in any Lego set period. It's a string. It's actually a string that's wound around a pillar that moves. And it's credit to the designer of the set, obviously. I moved the pillar to make it more discreet, but it's really remarkable. And it's something they just wouldn't do in a set today, and I really like it.
That is incredible. Now, what is this center room? This is the dining room.
Yeah, that's the dining room.
This is the second fanciest recording studio in Cloud City.
Yes. So this is where they come in. Oh, Luke wasn't even there, but I put him there. And Han tries to shoot Vader. Vader stops him with the Force. It's cool. And I made sure to include the original plant in the red jar. Not the same build, but to have it. And then this is a small model of the actual pillar you would have turned to open the door because I wanted it kind of in there.
So in the original Cloud City, you would turn a pillar right here. That would raise the door.
Yes. Or it was farther back like here.
Right. But you adjusted that to be over here.
Yes. And now this, I want noted, I forgot to mention in the carbon chamber. And if you know, you know. This is the Hamilton Beach ice cream maker that the guy is running away with in Cloud City.
If you know, you know, and I do not know. All I know is you said ice cream, and now I kind of want ice cream.
Yeah, they used an ice cream maker for this prop this guy is running away with.
In the real movie?
Yes, and it's become this iconic thing. So the Camtono that they put the Beskar in Mandalorian was actually inspired off of that he was running away with.
What?
Yeah. And I thought, you know what? It's behind some crates. I might as well include it as an Easter egg for this.
That is super funny. Is that an Easter egg in the original Cloud City set, 10123?
No, it's not.
Oh, come on.
But it's like fans have named the character because he was like a side character. You only see him that one time, to my knowledge. And he's been named by fans because he's become...
Have they named him Ice Cream?
No.
They should name him Good Humor.
Good Humor.
Right? Like the ice cream guy. So next to the second fanciest recording studio in Cloud City, we have this room right here that there's a stormtrooper hanging out and doing his stormy stuff.
Yeah, so this was actually the room I hated building the most.
Does this flip?
Yeah.
Can I do it?
Yes. Yeah. So that's
cool.
actually the main function I actually added that wasn't in the original set. I hated building this because it took me forever to figure out how to get this to do this, like it did in the original set.
Wait, what?
And it was a simple mechanism, but I'd kind of built, and I had to take it apart, and I wasn't trying to figure out without having to take it apart, and I spent way too long. But it was pretty cool.
Now, were you looking at instructions to the original Cloud City to learn some of the mechanisms?
Yeah, a little bit. I tried to do a replica months, maybe even close to a year ago, and it failed. And I had some of that knowledge, but like I glanced at the instructions for a bit to figure out how to make the door, figure out how to do this. This was straightforward. I did this. But for a little bit to remember how to do the facade on the outside, mainly for the dining room to get me started, I spent some time, but not a ton.
Now, once you come through this little hatch over here, this is a bit of an iconic scene from Star Wars.
Where they fight, Vader chops Luke's hand off. He hangs on with his remaining hand. Luke, I am your father. And he's, no. And then he drops and, oh, now he's lost his hand for real.
This is graphic. Now we're going to have to do a mature rating. Oh, no. He's cracked.
Yeah, well, this isn't the original Cloud City Luke. Again, that's why I'm trying to get... Or this isn't even the original new one. That's why I want to get the new set to get all those figures. But this is actually Rose Tico's torso. I think it's Rose Tico. I thought I heard that. I think that's her last name. From The Last Jedi. That I had to use because it was the closest thing I found in our collection to
Now,
Cloud City.
how does it make you feel having cracked torsos?
I have had to learn to ignore it because 90% of the figures I owned from when I was... before I had any appreciation for them or keeping them in good condition are cracked. So, like, it's just like what it is. When I pull most of my, rare retired figures, most of them are cracked. So I've just had to learn to live with it, but...
So what you're reminding us is that even when we're cracked in life, we still have value.
Yes. So, actually, one of the functions we missed was these little pillars that technically would be Vader.
No way.
Like he's throwing them on Luke. And it used to be one big panel that would drop. But I decided, why not make it 2? Because it'd be cooler to have 2, because he throws, I think, at least 2 or 3 things at Luke. I mean, there's that, obviously, that I added, wasn't in the original set, so that was like my one little function I actually added to it. But other than that, I made sure to make this facade look more like it did in the movie, because it was pretty basic in the original set.
It's an incredible build. Now, when you're mock building, did you build this and like, wow, I actually had everything I needed, or were there compromises you had to make based on the parts that we had available?
There wasn't too many compromises that I can remember. I did want to build a second landing pad, and we didn't have the parts for it, but I thought that would have been cool. Had I looked longer, I might have found what I needed.
Really, the entire thing came out beautifully. It is a super cool mock. You did an incredible job building it.
Thank you.
And I think it's cooler than 10123. I think this should be called 10111 because it's better than 10123 by...
Thank you.
That would be by 12 better. It's 12 better than that. Micah, amazing job on this mock. I'm excited we get to display it. This is one that you actually might display at Brick Universe.
Yes.
We're hoping to get some display space at Brick Universe in Nashville. We don't know if it's going to happen or not. Again, we are kind of newer to this whole LEGO community thing and trying to build a presence. So if you know someone with Brick Universe, be like, hey, you should let Fromania Bricks have a table or two. Because we don't know if we can even get in or not. But this is one of the mocks that you want to display there. I also have a mock I just finished that is kind of detailing the story of slavery in Southeast Asia. And we're actually going to do a video on that mock as well. Micah, amazing job on this mock. Thanks for sharing it with us. Let us know what you think about it in the comments. Thanks for watching with us. Go ahead and hit subscribe below so you can stay up to date on some of the fun, exciting things that we're doing. And most important thing in this whole thing is that LEGO is a tool, right? In the hands of the right people, it can build beauty. And we want to tell stories and connect with people and build relationship through these little plastic bricks. So we hope that you go out there and do the same, that you go out there and you keep building together. Keep building not only LEGO, but life together. And most importantly, remember to keep on smiling. Because Micah, what is the thing about smiles?
It's contagious.
They are truly contagious.